Namaste. I'm Joey and I'm happy to guide you through yoga today.
Welcome everyone to your 60-minute somatic fusion practice. If you're already in a comfortable position, maybe just taking a nice long, slow breath in through the nose, filling up the lungs and the chest. And when you're ready, just letting it go full and slow and complete through the nose or the mouth. And maybe you keep that rhythm going for a few rounds of breath, or maybe one's just enough. And once you come back to a more organic breath and begin to observe the breath, I invite you to begin to extend the exhalations a little longer than the inhalations. Noticing the pause at the end of the exhalation once it's completely released out before the inhale resumes. Just continuing to observe the rhythm of breath. Noticing how it begins to change with those slightly extended exhalations. And keeping that rhythm going as you begin to shift your awareness to the body. Notice if there's any tension being held or muscular contraction. So keeping the rhythm of the breath going with the extension of the exhalation and the pause before the breath in. Really releasing the physical body along with that exhalation. Maybe scanning the body to notice any areas of holding that maybe aren't so obvious. So we can soften them also, like the eyes and the jaw, the throat, the whole body just softening in and arriving on your mat. Nowhere else to be and nothing else to do. Giving yourself permission to fully arrive. Maybe this is when the mind thinks it's time to get even more active when the body's still. So just observing the comings and goings of thoughts or sensations, emotions, images, or plays of shadow and light. Let go of the need to control and become the seer. The body continuing to progressively settle in and relax and arrive. And starting to draw awareness to the rhythm of your heart. Maybe your body's become so relaxed that you feel little movements as the heart beats, or just sensations of the heart beating. And then take a moment to set an intention for your practice today. And then again, checking in to notice areas of your body where tension may have crept back in, or muscular tension. Taking a couple more of those mindful breaths with extended exhalations to re-relax. And only if and when you're ready, you might begin to bring little movements into the fingers. Maybe you rock the head gently from side to side, massaging the back of the skull. Good. Let's take a bend in the knees. So planting the feet into the mat. Start with those rocks of the knees from side to side. Very slow and mindful, even slower than you would normally move when this is offered. Using your inhale to come back to center, your exhale to drop the knees, just noticing where you feel opening and space being created. As we rock to the left, maybe as the right knee draws in toward the midline, dropping more to the left, you feel a little pull at the right side of the waist or abdomen, and vice versa. Notice where you feel sensation in the back of the body and the hips and the pelvis. Maybe even traveling awareness up to the shoulders to notice how the upper body is affected by this movement. And not trying to change anything, but rather trying to really relax through the other areas of the body. So the movement's just coming from the lower body, even though the effect of that movement travels up to bring movement into the upper body. So we're not rigid. We feel that flow kind of travel up. And then when you're ready, bring the knees back to stillness. So we're going to send our legs long and just come into our shavasana, but with the arms a little closer into the sides and the legs zipped in a little more. So normally we might spread out more to a star, but we're just kind of tucking in and finding our shavasana, and more of a anatomical position, really. Good. Now we're going to start to move with breath. So just relax the body. The feet might still drop out even though the legs are closer together. That's okay. Just relax initially and come to your breath while I describe how we're going to move. When we inhale, we're going to reach our arms overhead. We're going to pull our body nice and long, letting the belly drop down towards the earth. And then as we exhale, we're just bringing the arms down to the sides and fully re-relaxing into Shavasana. So we're going to be taking long, slow breaths in and out to allow for that movement. But if your breath isn't, if you can't get your breath full enough, then breathe in your own way that suits you. Don't force anything. So just find your breath and observe it as it is. And then we'll take a breath in together. And we'll let it go all the way out because I'll guide you through the first couple. We inhale, turn the toes down, send the arms up, really reach and lengthen, almost as you're being tugged, but the belly falls down towards the earth. And then as you exhale, let the arms come down to the sides and relax the legs. Okay, so moving with breath. Inhale, reach and lengthen, reach and lengthen. Exhale, arms down to the sides and soften. Just continuing like that. If you want, you can start sighing out through the mouth. 2 more. After that exhale, when we're back in that shavasana, just pausing, eyes closed if it's available, just continuing to observe. Notice what lies beneath the surface of your physical body. Just observing and noticing anywhere else you notice sensation or vibration, energy, space. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. Good. Let's just wiggle those fingers and toes again. Don't want to come out too quickly, transition, or move too quickly in this practice. And then we'll draw a bend back into the knees, push into the feet to lift the hips, and then let the spine reconnect slowly, adding that rock of the knees once again from side to side. Again, feeling that massage in the low back. And then once you're ready, come back to stillness in this position with the knees bent and the feet planted about hip distance apart. We're going to ground into the right foot, pick up the left leg, flex the left heel, and cross the left ankle at the right thigh. And maybe we're just breathing in, taking the left hand on the exhales, gently pushing the left knee away. So noticing as we breathe out, the knee drawing a little closer to the torso, the elbow softening even deeper. If we're using the hand, maybe we're not, that's okay too. The left heel still flex though, but just welcoming any other movement that trickles into the body. For example, as the left knee pulls in toward your body, the right knee might kind of dip in toward the midline. And as we gently press the left knee away, the right knee might come back over the ankle or even externally rotate slightly. Good. Now the next time we press the knee away, we'll just pause, releasing the left hand down, observing. Good. And then if available, lift the right foot away from the mat, still making that figure 4 shape. You could use a strap or take your binder on the back of the right thigh, realign the shoulders and the neck. Again, still flex through the left heel, but the right ankle and heel can be relaxed. And notice where that right knee wants to land. Is it dipping in toward the midline? If we slightly bring the right leg to the right to stack the knee more in alignment with the right hip, and that doesn't mean it has to be directly over the right hip, but in the same line or plane. If you feel more sensation, maybe through the outer left hip as you bring your body into that alignment. And then relaxing through the shoulders. You don't have to stay here if it doesn't feel good. You can let the knee dip in and just pause there. That's okay. But just experimenting with aligning the right knee with the hip and maybe pausing for a couple of rounds of breath. The eyes are open, allow them to be relaxed or close them down. Good. One more inhale. Now we're going to keep the ankle at the thigh, but as we exhale, we're going to release the bind to allow the right foot to connect to the mat. So we're going to press into the right foot to slide the hips about an inch to the left. Again, we're still crossed. And bring the right arm up overhead if you can. It doesn't have to be straight. It doesn't have to make contact to the mat at this point. After a big breath in, let's roll the whole body to the right. So still in the figure 4 shape, but we're rolling to the right side of the body. You can just rest the head down on the upper arm, or you can bend the elbow and rest the head on the palm. Now, if the left knee's dipping in towards the floor, try to press it away so the knee's reaching up more. You can take the left hand to the left ankle and gently draw it further up the thigh if it's available. Again, we're not forcing the heel stack below the knee. And again, maybe we take the hand and just gently press it away, but don't force it. Again, nice, easy breathing. The next option now is to reach the left arm behind. Lift the right foot. See if you can take the left hand to bind at the right foot and then relax the leg back down. And maybe it just kind of hovers, like my leg won't come back down to the mat. So the knees bent, my hands making contact to my foot, my heels kind of touching my butt, but I'm not able to allow the lower leg to reconnect to the mat. So I'm just kind of floating, active through the left leg, trying to keep the foot grounded, but opening up through the knee and thigh. Relax your shoulders, maybe soften your eyes and pause here for breath. Mindful breathing in, mindful breathing out. One more inhale. Exhale, release the right foot if you're binded. Good, let's straighten down through the leg on the right side. Release the right arm if the elbow's bent and the head's resting to lower the head down on the upper arm. So just transitioning out nice and slow, but keep the left hand at the inner left thigh, just activating to keep the leg lifted, the knee lifted rather, the foot still planted. Good, and then let's roll onto the back body. So we might leg over. Send the left leg long to meet the right. Give yourself a little gentle stretch. Flex the heels, point the toes. Notice again any sensation in the body. Just reminding you to stay present. Good. And then soften into that mini shavasana. Let the arms just draw down until they can fully relax. Maybe take up a little more space through the legs. Follow awareness on the breath of the belly expanding and contracting. And then we'll begin to set up for that on the opposite side. So we'll bend in through the knees, bring the arms down if they're overhead, making space between the ears and the shoulders. And this time we'll plant through the left foot as we pick up the right, flex the right heel and cross the ankle at the thigh. Maybe take the right hand to the inner right thigh as we breathe in, pushing the thigh away. As we breathe out, letting it pull back in gently. Maybe it's organically, or maybe you're exaggerating the movement. You decide. Maybe through experimentation of what feels better for you today. And rather than comparing it with any other practice or past experiences, how do you feel in this moment right now, right here? Yeah, and the body, lower body might kind of rock as we push the thigh away. The left knee might kind of dip slightly to the right. And as we release that pressure, we may kind of rock back, the knee dropping maybe slightly out to the left. And it may happen for you and it may not. Just observing what is happening in your body. Good, and then just relax the arms down to the sides. Take a couple rounds of breath, still flexing through the right heel. Left leg away from the mat and bind around the back of the thigh, still flexing through the right heel. And again, we might experiment with little rocks from side to side, just relaxing the shoulders as best you can. If it's too much of a reach and you're compromising the alignment of the neck and the grounding of the shoulders, you have a strap close by. You can always use that. It might be available to kind of press the right elbow to the inside of the right leg. And then again, we'll come back to stillness. Make sure the neck is long. Relax the left ankle, flexing through the right heel. Release the bind, allowing the foot to come down. You can bring the arms wide and with the legs still crossed, actually bring the left arm up overhead. Don't worry about it being straight or connected. Big breath in, and as we exhale, maybe the legs start to fall first, but gradually working our way onto the left side of the body, maybe just resting the head on the arm or bending the elbow to support the head. You might use the right hand to bring the foot up the thigh a little further, even though the foot's planted to the mat, but drawing it closer towards the upper thigh. And just make sure the knee's not jutting forward towards the toes. Step the heel away if it's available, so the ankle's below the knee. Good, just settling in here for a few breaths, and maybe then we deepen the bend in the left knee, and we release the right ankle to take the right hand back to bind at the left foot. Again, readjust yourself to find the best expression of the pose in your body in this moment, in today's practice. Noticing any differences between sides, not to judge, but to get to know our bodies a little more, what's going on. Maybe it's more challenging to hold on this side. Maybe it's less. Maybe it's similar. Softening in where you can. One more big breath in. If you have a bind, hand to foot, let it go. And then straighten the left arm if the head's lifted, supported by the hand, dropping the left temple down to rest on the upper arm. Maybe relaxing through the right leg, letting it go where it wants to. Just pause in a place where you can rest on still the left side of the body. Good, and then begin to drop the right shoulder behind you, letting the body follow as we make our way onto the back. Once again, just let the legs come long, let the arms come down, and just take your mini shavasana, just observing, shutting down, drawing in within your being. Surrender here and observe. Relax any areas of tension, resisting the urge to anticipate what comes next. Just being here now. Good. Now start to slide the legs in, turn the toes up, add a little flexion through the heels. Bring the arms to whatever comfortable position they want to rest in. So instead of bringing the feet right in to touch, imagine that you're standing in mountain pose through the legs. There's a flexion through the heels, there's a softness to the knees. And notice what muscles need to stay activated here to hold that internal rotation, what feels like an internal rotation through the legs. If they naturally drop out, you'll feel the activeness through the legs to hold them here. And just settling back into the other areas of the body as we engage gently through the legs, a little flexion through the heels, softness through the knees. And then we're going to flutter quickly through the legs while keeping the breath smooth and rhythmic. So take a big breath in and start to release the breath slowly out as you begin to flutter, pointing the toes, flexing the heels. So kind of a quick flutter. Again, just noticing what happens through the rest of the body. It might kind of feel like your head's nodding yes. Noticing what areas of the body stay a little more still, if any. All the action coming from the lower body, although it's affecting and creating and causing movement, cause and effect through the upper body. Breath still smooth and full. One more inhale. And now relax. Notice sensation under the layers of your physical body. Just observing, relaxing. Good. Turn the toes back up, flex the heels gently, reposition the distance between the legs if you've lost that perfect stance for you, as though you're standing on the lower body, belly just falling and hollowing towards the earth. Take a big breath in. Keep the breath rhythmic and slow as you release the exhale, full and slow. Start to flutter the legs. Again, just noticing what happens with the rest of the body. Eyes, face, jaw relaxed. One more breath in and relax. Notice what's happening from a more energetic perspective, but also the muscles relaxing fully and completely. And maybe it's a gradual process. Maybe you can observe that process. Slowing the breath, lengthening it out if it feels shallow, smoothing it out if it feels jagged. One more time. Turn the toes up, add a little flexion through the heels, soft knees. Breathe in deep. Breathe out deep. Start to flutter and keep that breath deep and rhythmic now as we flutter. Just observing. Maybe there's a sound you hear from this movement on your mat. Maybe it's your breath you hear. Again, big breath in and relax. Notice again, whatever surfaces, being present and observing. Good. Nice and slow. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Begin to draw a bend into the knees, planting the feet. Push into the feet to lift the low back, and then let each vertebrae reconnect slowly to the mat. Turn the heels slightly out, the big toes slightly in, and let the knees and thighs fall towards one another, or maybe the legs make contact in some way. Notice how space opens up through the lower back now, where you may have started to feel tension from staying extended long through our body. So just noticing the spine starting to settle, tension starting to maybe hopefully dissipate a little there. Not worrying if it's not yet. Focus on those extended exhalations and the body growing even more settled and relaxed with those extended exhalations. And then let's bring the heels back in. So the feet are planted, toes directed down towards the bottom edge of the mat. And slowly draw one knee into the chest, taking the hand to the shin to support or behind the knee. And then the other, bringing the hand to support that leg. Separate the legs away from one another while still grounding down through the low back. Softness to the elbows. Breathing easy. And yogi's choice, if you want to take a restorative happy baby, you can reach for your bolster, lay it on your body, and then wrap the arms and legs around like a koala bear, clinging to a tree. Or you can send the soles of the feet towards the sky and take your bind for a more active happy baby. So whatever feels good, whatever you need in this practice today, in this moment, taking your expression of happy baby. You can stay still, you can add some movement, you can get creative with your movement. If you are still and the thighs are dropping down on either side of the rib cage, just really focusing on relaxing those quadricep muscles, those big thigh muscles. If you're flowing, just trying to keep the low back connected without force. Maybe you're kicking out if you're rocking from side to side. Maybe you're lingering on the side, noticing what muscles help support movement if you are moving. And if you're staying still, body just surrendering and growing heavier. Can you still take those full breaths in and extended, lengthened exhalations out? Does it require more effort? Is your body beginning to speak to you in some way? Or is resistance creeping in? Can you re-soften when it does? Relaxing for just a couple more rounds of breath here now. And at the end of your next exhale, starting to remove your prop or release your binds, drawing the knees back in towards the chest. Maybe wrap the hands again behind the knees or around the shins, but maybe you clasp the hands with the palms more open, just relaxing the shoulders down. Maybe you draw the forearms in to squeeze the thighs in. How does that feel? So inhale, relax the forearms, relax the shoulders. Exhale, keep the shoulders connected to the mat, but squeeze the forearms in. Feel the thighs squeeze in. Again, inhale, expand. Exhale, squeeze. Continuing like that for a few rounds of breath. Maybe the shoulders kind of roll forward towards one another at the front of the body, even though the blades stay connected. Maybe the back body kind of lifts away gently around the tail as we expand and relax. And it reconnects and grounds as the lumbar spine gently peels away. So again, these are things that might be happening, and maybe it's a different sensation in your body. Embracing that. We're going to be experiencing some different things. Good. The next time you expand, just pause there and take a couple rounds of breath, trying to relax. And then very slowly release your binds, your hands, lower the feet, one at a time. Maybe bring the hands to the front of the hips. Maybe the knees just stay stacked over the heels or the ankles. Maybe we're still rounding forward through the shoulders, and we need that reminder to let the backs of the shoulders drop heavy down. Again, just observing the breath, observing the body, maybe still transitioning out. Very gradual, slow process might be happening. Good, and then let's push into the feet to slide the hips a couple inches to one side of the mat. Make your way into a fetal position on the opposite side. Hug the knees even tighter. Maybe wrap around the upper arm, around the lower legs, around the shins, and then adjust the upper body so that the head is supported and the neck feels good. Close through the eyes if you can. Relax your face. Relax the upper arm, the one that's underneath you. Relaxed, the shoulder relaxed. Notice how you feel in your fetal position. The one that we sometimes feel like we want to curl up in a ball when things get too heavy. When the heart feels tender or even more tender than usual. Think of the heart space on the back of the body as you take these last few rounds of breath here. Breathing in the strength and courage that you need. Anything else that you need, breathing it in through that heart space, welcoming it in. And then after an exhale, release the hand that's wrapped around the leg and plant it in front of the chest. Very slowly begin to push our way up. And we're going to turn to face our mat, starting in a table, and we're just going to come into child's pose. So option 2, if you have a bolster, maybe you're at home and you have a pillow or a rolled up blanket or comforter. Option to make this more supportive. You can also experiment with bringing a block under the head of the bolster if that feels better in your body. And then maybe sliding the hands up towards the head of the bolster and then lowering the torso down. For some, you might be able to rest the brow and the bridge of the nose down comfortably without compromising along. and relaxed neck. Or for some of us, we'll have to turn the head to one side. Bring the elbows a little wider so that we can really soften and open up the heart space on the back of the body, the space between the shoulders. The shoulder blades melt away from one another. Maybe it feels almost as though your heart's protected at the front of the body in this position, sheltered. As the shoulders round and melt forward. A nice extension through the back body. Just slowing our breath, closing back in and drawing back in. The only thing that's important right now is this present moment, your exploration of your body, your mind, your breath, your emotions, your senses. Anything else that arises here in this moment. Nice and slow if you haven't already. And you're resting on one side of the head, we're going to switch sides. And if you want to remove your bolster or remove the block or add a bolster and or a block, changing your child's pose, you can. Or maybe you're just turning the head to the opposite side to get the same stretch through the opposite side of the neck. Balasana once again, child's pose. Just observe. And when you're ready, starting to plant the palms on either side of the bolster, back under the shoulders. Slowly lifting the body up, maybe pausing. When you're halfway there, and then making your way back up the rest of the way. Now we're going to stay in this position. So if you want that support of the bolster, your block, bring it between the thighs now so we can come into our expression of hero. If you'd rather make your way to your bum, you can do that too. Wherever we can sit upright and have a tall spine once again. Low belly gently pulling in. Good. We're going to cross the arms, a little gentle fist at the chest. We're just going to kind of pound the chest, alternating sides. Just gentle. Keep the breath smooth and rhythmic, and don't worry if you get at a sink. Maybe you start to move the hands around to go down the arms where you can, maybe down the ribs. Maybe you open up the arms, down the sides of the body to the hips, up the ribs, solar plexus, ribs. Gradually working your way back up to the chest, not worrying about being rhythmic. Good, and then keep the hands where they are, but stop the gentle pounding. Close your eyes if you can. Again, observe. Slow your breath. Notice how you feel. Release, release the arms down. Let the palms rest on the thighs, the shoulders relax. Continue to observe the breath, just changing position of the arms as we gradually transition out. And if the eyes are closed and it's helpful, just fluttering them open. And we're going to reposition ourselves. Now we're going to be moving right into shavasana from here. So if you have all the props, at least one bolster, you can come into that, what I call supported shavasana, bringing the block, or maybe if you're going higher for a bigger heart opener, the first block towards the top of the mat goes higher, the next block at the second highest height, no matter what height. Okay, so if you only have one block, we can make that work too. And if you just have one bolster, maybe you prefer just a bolster under the knees, or even if you have two, and maybe you just prefer one bolster under the knees. So you decide. If you do have a second bolster and you're coming into the heart opener or supported shavasana, you can wrap the legs around, wiggle the bum close to the bolster so the low back makes contact, and then maybe take your hands to the sides or to the bolster to help support yourself in coming on back. Tilt the pelvis, lift the hips, release the hips and pelvis and bottom back down till you get that right tilt of the pelvis, more neutral. Even though the low back starts to move into gentle flexion. Wiggle the shoulders down once the torso's rested on the bolster, if this is the position you're taking. And then add a little tuck of the chin towards the chest. Making sure the neck feels long and lengthened. And then experiment with the distance between the arms and the body. Maybe the palms flip up. Soften through the eyes and the brow. Relax the eyeballs and their sockets. Maybe feel that the outer corners of the eyes are slightly spreading away from each other and then slightly turning upward. Relax the nose. Relax the hinges of the jaw. Relax the back of the skull, heavy. Relax the brain. Relax the hollow of your throat. The shoulders in their entirety from the inside out. Relaxed. Down the length of the arms to the tips of the fingers. Heavy and relaxed. Back to the hollow of the throat, soft. Relax the chest, Relax the rib cage and the sides of the body and the lumbar spine. Relax the upper and the lower abdomen and the low back. Relax the sitting bones and the hips. And feel the pelvis soft and relaxed. The upper legs in their entirety from the inside out. The knee joints, the lower legs, the heels may feel heavy. The tops of the feet, the soles of the feet to the tips of the toes, relax. Feel your entire body relax. Aware of your whole body. Whole body. Open your heart. She laughed so much she made me giggle. Do you laugh and smile all the time? I asked the woman. Are you this happy all the time? My heart is open and healed, she said. I laugh a lot, but I cry a lot too. An open heart feels all it needs to feel. Cry when it hurts. At the end of your tears, you will see more clearly. Tears clear out our eyes and our heart, so cry whenever you need to. Laugh often as you can. Laugh with friends, laugh out loud. The discoveries, the growth, the insights, the closeness, the sharing, and the learning don't have to be such serious, somber events. Truth is discovered most often in laughter. Bonds are formed and love becomes unveiled. Cry a lot, laugh a lot. Let life reveal its mysteries to you. Let love find you, course through you, touch all you meet through your laughters and tears. The fortunate person is not the one who wins the lottery. That's luck. We find fortune when we open our hearts and learn the secret of life. Laughter and tears are the signs of an open heart. Wherever your mind is at in this moment, gently bring it back to your breath, your body. Maybe take a deeper, fuller breath in and release the breath out in your own way, whether it's forceful with a sigh, a yawn, or just long and slow through the nose or mouth. And then begin to add movement if you're ready for it, just wiggling the smaller parts, maybe rocking. Gradually making your way over onto one side, and maybe if your props are set up, you're just kind of leaning into those props, resting on the side, supported by the props. It's a little easier to get upright from there if you have them. And then when you're ready, just pushing up from your props, unless you've on the floor, then pushing your body away from the floor and coming back to an upright seated position. Maybe Cross the legs in the opposite way once you arrive. Root down through your bottom. Bring the hands together at the heart. Relax your shoulders. Breathe easy. Come back to your heart. Repeat your intention with conviction. Your I am statement. It's already the truth. The light within me sees and honors the light within each of you. Namaste.
I hope you enjoyed today's practice. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.